So today we're talking about my crazy story of when I moved from North Carolina to Colorado Springs. This was basically after my senior year in college. We had an awesome strength coach. His name was Coach Mike Kent. Probably the coolest experience about my football days at Appalachian State was meeting Mike Kent. We were lucky enough to have an awesome strength coach. Back in the 90s, way before they were good strength coaches, we had one of the best. Anyway, Coach Kent, at the end of my career, told me, look, this is probably the last days of your football career, but you might consider, Olympic weightlifting. And back then, all I knew about Olympic weightlifting was, we did some snatching, we did a lot of cleans and some jerks, and I knew I was pretty good at it naturally. And so, Coach Kent said, who knows, you could go there, do really well in the nationals. Next thing you know, you're at the Olympic Training Center, and I'm like, man, it sounds really cool, to think about lifting weights full time. And so when I graduated, long story short, I had $200 to my name. This is crazy. What I'm about to tell you is going to be crazy, but it's true. I had $200 to my name. I loaded everything up into my little car. It was a Pontiac Sunbird. They don't even make them anymore. And I told my mom, look, I'm going to go to Colorado Springs. There's a coach out there, Wes Barnett, who's an Olympian who coaches people on the side. I'm going to go try to get him as a coach and see if I can make a run at Olympic weightlifting. My mom was like, you're crazy. I'll probably see you in 2 months. She gave me 2 months before I'd end up back home. And I even told my mom, I'm like, you know what, you're probably right. But I'm at least going to try and see this thing through. And looking back, I don't even know why I was the kind of a person that was that out there and that was willing to, just up and move. So, but I knew that I had a passion for training and for lifting weights. And so I was going to follow my heart. Luckily going to college, you learn to look outside the box sometimes. And that was definitely looking outside the box. And so I just took off, man. I mean, it was crazy too. I had to drive, from where I was in the mountains of North Carolina. You went through Tennessee, so you went through Nashville. It was such an exciting time. Crazy thing is I don't even remember being afraid. I was just so excited to be following my dreams, and I was going to make this thing happen, and I had no doubts. But now that I'm older, I look back and I'm like, man, what a crazy dude I was. But the coolest story going out there is I was driving through Kansas, and it was a snowstorm, like a blizzard. And I'm going really slow, and there's these 2 tractor trailers that passed me in Kansas. And I'm like, man, these dudes, they must know what they're doing. They can drive fast. And a mile down the road, both of these tractor trailers were upside down on the road. And I just kept, it's kind of like the tortoise in the hare. I just kept going. But anyway, long story short, I made it to Colorado Springs. And before I even looked for a place to live, I went straight to, there was a World Gym on 8th Street in Colorado Springs. That's where Wes Barnett, 2-time Olympian, was coaching people on the side while he was still at the Olympic Training Center. And I walked in the gym, and the first person that greeted me was Anna Timchenko. She was this 6'1" blonde Russian girl. I remember the first thing I thought was holy cow. It's everybody out here massive and huge. She made me look short. Well, I am short, but she made me look small. But anyway, Anna she was just one in a million, thank God. So I went in the gym, I was like, Anna, well, I didn't know her at the time. I was like, look, I'm looking for Wes Barnett. I know he coaches here. She's like, yeah, he's in the back coaching. So luckily he was already there. So I went there was a caged area at World Gym where it was there was 4 platforms, bumper plates, and Olympic bars, and some racks for squatting. I went back there and I saw him, and I'm like, look, man, I just drove 1,000 miles from North Carolina to train with you. Will you please coach me? He's like, look, calm down. I'll coach you. But here's where it gets really cool and gets kind of creepy. He was coaching Don Ramos, who owned the gym, and I had no idea. But Don Ramos overheard me. He's like, so you just drove here from North Carolina to work with Wes? I'm like, that's what I did. And he's like, do you need a job? I'm like, I absolutely need a job. I don't know what I'm going to do. And so he's like, look, I'll give you a job. You can work here. You can, work in the gym floor. Maybe do some sales and memberships." And I'm like, "I'll do whatever. I just want to come here and I want to make this work." So I had my coach and my job. I still didn't have a place to live. So I'm walking out. And as I'm walking out, Ryan Mitchell, one of the, he's a trainer, the personal trainer. He's like, "Where are you going to live, man?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. I guess my car for a while." And he's like, "Look, why don't you come stay with me until you get on your feet?" So, guys, literally within maybe 30 minutes to an hour, however long I was there, I had my coach, I had my job, and I had a place to live. Now, let me be clear. I'm not telling you guys to do that. Matter of fact, I would beg my son not to do that. But it's an interesting story, and it's just an example of following my passions and following my heart and actually working out. But now here's the thing. You got to remember, if you choose to do something crazy like that, I was willing to go out there and it not work. I would do whatever it took. I was going to sleep in my car, but I was willing to take a risk, and I was willing to accept that things might not go the way I planned. But in my case, it worked out, and I guess God had an answer for me, and it worked out. And so I can't wait to tell my sons that story. And now I'm glad we're doing this video, because God forbid if something happens to me, I'm glad this will be on YouTube so they can see the story. And I hope my son follows his heart. I hope he's a little smarter than his dad, maybe a little bit more prepared, but I hope he follows his passion. He doesn't let anybody direct him one way or the other. He follows his heart. I believe that God puts certain things in our hearts and draws us certain places for a reason. I have no doubt that was my destiny. That's what God had a plan for me. Just looking at how so many things could have gone wrong, and they didn't. So, that's where I was meant to be. And so, but don't show up at Match Elite Performance expect me to give you a job. Maybe, maybe not. So, but that's the story of me moving to Colorado Springs, and I don't know what you're going to do with it, but I hope you enjoyed it. Hey guys, now do me a favor. Go subscribe to our channel, like our videos, comment. I promise you if you comment, I'll get back to you and answer all your questions. Thanks for watching.